The 2015 World Championship Series Global Finals is brought to you in part by Intel, Windows 10, MasterCard, and T-Mobile.
One last quarterfinal left here on the first day of BlizzCon 2015. We're about to find out the last member in the semifinals of the WCS Global Final. Ladies and gentlemen, first it is my pleasure to introduce to you the only player left representing the WCS Premier League. Of course, he was our champion in Toronto back in Season 2. Representing Ro8 Gaming, it is Hydra! And on the other side is a player where these two have met quite a few times, but the odds are stacked up greatly against our second player. He had to climb through a generic Green Wings team kill to come here and play in Anaheim, California. Please welcome to the stage, Ro8! One last player to enter the round of 4. Who will it be? It's time to find out between Hydra versus Ro8.
I was really confident before the game. My teammate and I thought I was gonna win 100% because we prepared our build, and I feel really good now.
너무 이기고 싶어서 긴장도 너무 많이 돼서 잠도 잘 못 잤는데 이기게 되니까 너무 기쁘고 성주도 정말 많이 못 자고 마지막 경기라서 컨디션이 좀 안 좋았던 것 같고 근데 기분은 너무 좋아요.
I think he is like so stylish Zerg recently. Like his style is so unique, I think.
저는 절대 평범하게는 하지 않는 저그고 빌드도 많이 알고 있으니까 제 경기 보시면 재미있으실 거예요.
I have been winning against him since when I was in Casper team, so yeah, I'm really confident.
예전에 동원 형이랑 상대 전적이 제가 엄청 밀리고 있는데 저는 제가 무난하게 또 이길 수 있을 것 같아요.
I'm gonna win against you in round of 8 because you always lose in round of 8 in any tournaments.
제가 8강에서 만났던 선수 중에 형이 제일 쉬운 상대라고 생각하니까 항상 응원해 주시고 제 경기를 챙겨봐 주시는 우승까지 할 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
I'm gonna show you guys that WCS champion can win the BlizzCon.
The final quarterfinal match is one of two underdogs against one another. Ro8, a player who honestly, not a lot of people know very well, getting to 5 round of 8s in a row, but never getting to that championship stretch that would be burned into your memory. Hydra, on the other hand, second in WCS season North America, or in season 1 in WCS, and then first, and then in the round of 8. I mean, Dario, it's a Zerg versus Zerg, and Hydra's up 6-1. Are we just going to see him plow through and get 7-1 against Ro8?
It's gonna be tough because on one side Hydra has a good record, but he's up against somebody who's living in a Korean pro house, and he's gonna get the most preparation, especially nowadays where it's a little bit harder to find out of the swarm training. But CVC in the foreign scene is actually quite good. Out of all the matchups, that's probably the closest between Korea and
that's our
Europe.
crown jewel.
Who's like the best German Zerg versus Zerg player, for instance?
It's a tie between Lambo and myself.
Oh, okay. You're humble. I like that.
That's humble. There's someone
guy.
As good as I am.
He's creatively
Not better. Not better.
I like what you said about underdogs. When you're talking about even going back to the round of 16, nobody's so hipster. Not even Dario, not Kevin, and certainly not me, because I pick safe picks most of the time, was saying, you know what, BlizzCon? watch out for Rogue or watch out for that Hydra. But here they are battling each other, and it's after everyone discounted them in the round of 16, and now in the round of 8 too, it's almost kind of an afterthought. It's like, you know, you guys will lose to Innovation, right? Right? No. So this is kind of the I spoiled that for ourselves there really quick, but I like this tournament. This is the tournament of chaos. Either one of these guys, it's kind of an open field for them.
Yeah, I've had a really hard time looking at this series as well, because on one hand, you know, you have Hydra, we know him pretty well, and I do like what Dario says. In general, he's played a lot of series against guys like Snoot, who do have world-class CVZ. I mean, it may not be live good, but it's very close to it, so we know quite a bit about him. Then there is Rogue, and if you're, you know, that hipster that always stays up to watch Pro League, you know that he's a beast, but at the same time, you know, you don't really see this as a quarterfinal at BlizzCon, but here they are, and they both worked really hard for it, and absolutely deserve to be here.
They had hard matches in the round of 16. I mean, Hydra versus Dream, but then Rogue 3-0ing Maru. I'm 100% convinced it was Maru. That was the first pick I did. I was like, well, definitely Maru. All right, let's do these other 7 predictions. And I mean, Rogue made Maru look very, very weak in that series, which is kind of insane. So I'm really excited to see if Rogue can maybe pull off a similar kind of vibe here against Hydra.
Yeah, this will be a fun mirror matchup. ZVZ, I mean, those were 2 ZVTs where Dario was saying this, and other Zerg and Terran experts will tell you, like, that's the matchup where the better player should win more often than not. And yet, for the most part, the people that were considered the underdogs did win. But in a ZVZ, it's got a little bit of that PvP spice and love in it. Dario, of course, the expert, so you can discount everything I'm saying here. But I do feel like in ZVZ, there is some room for tomfoolery. There's a little bit of room for sneaky stuff.
I kind of agree with you.
I'm going to take it. I like it.
But
That's better than I do, Jim.
in PvP, a build order is more significant.
Sure.
In CVC, even when the other guy technically has a build order that beats yours, there is a lot of room for skill, unlike in Protoss matchups.
Okay. Well, wait, I got that jab in there at the end. All right, buddy, I see you.
Boom. I mean, what's really cool about the Zerg vs. Zerg matchup is your build order will oftentimes be good at a couple of the possible ways where you can have an advantage. Maybe you'll have a stronger army, but you might be behind in the drone count. Or you have a timing attack, but you'll be behind in upgrades should that happen. Or you might have a stronger army, but it's slower than your opponent. And that's always what's so interesting about the matchup, is seeing which edge they go for.
Both the backdoor rock maps are in this, by the way. We're starting off with Bridgehead, which has that critical back rocks as well. That's a big deal. I feel like that could be scary. It's in ZVZ, by the way. I feel like it's the other matchup where that really comes in. Am I wrong on that, or is that?
No, definitely the back rocks in CVC. Yeah, that's a factor, especially on Bridgehead and later stages for burrowed roaches. The back rocks are actually insanely important. There's 3 paths that lead into the basis of the defensive players, so I think we're going to see a lot of burrowed roaches here, if we get to that stage.
I also think that kind of favors Hydra a little bit. If there's one thing I take away from most of Hydra's ZVZs, is that he's very decisive, he's very committed to most of his attacks. He doesn't often have a hive plan or a 3-3 plan. Like he's going to look at the game, he's going to be like, all right, if I put all my resources into this one attack, I think I can do it. And on maps like that, you know, where you have the opportunity to create more space for yourself, to get better engagements, that might be something that favors him a little.
And looking at the vetoes, it always tells you a little bit about the mindset of a CVC, because Rogue vetoed the 4-player map, which is a little bit more random, and there's a little bit more weird things that can happen, while Hydra actually vetoed Terraform, which in CVC is a little bit more of a stable map. So Hydra doesn't mind to have the more weird maps on the table, trying to make up maybe for that little bit of skill difference that he perceives.
Okay. Well, now I'm interested in what your predictions are going to be for this match. Again, it is underdog versus underdog story, which means that no matter what, we're going to have a very interesting round of 4. Roddy, let's begin with you.
Yeah, I went with Rogue, but this is not one of those picks that I was very certain about. Then again, that's probably a good thing, because I've been more wrong than right, you know? So maybe this is the one, but I think this is a very close one.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm just looking. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think Rogue has it, because just of the nature of the tournament once more. I do also believe it's a very close matchup. I'd love to see a 3-2, because I love CVC. I know not a lot of people might agree with me there, but I think it's a beautiful matchup.
But you know that they're mistaken.
Yeah, they're wrong, of course.
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, of course.
Yeah.
You're an expert. I feel a little bit like that person who was invited to the costume party, and then no one wore a costume except for me. Like I'm the only person here that picked Hydra, and I feel like that's not that cheeky of a guess.
This prediction lineup cracks me up because, I know what my prediction was, but, we don't know what the global caster predictions are until we go into this.
Yeah.
And to see everyone go for Rogue, because just as it was so easy to say that Mara would beat Rogue, on this one, it was so hard to pick anyone. In the end, I just said, well, I know how wrong I was about Rogue, so let's go with Rogue here.
I do want to say, we've got a couple of themes going. This is why I picked my pick, I feel. There is the Chaos pick. It seems like right now the chaotic players are kind of winning supreme, and they're upsetting those mechanical gods. But also, there's a little bit of history going on here. Classic was that roadblock for Hero, and he stomped. And all of a sudden here, 6-1 in favor of Hydra. It seems that he, too, classically, could be the favorite.
And let's not forget that Rogue did have a lot of troubles in the past by making it past that round of 8. That is where he was always stopped, and that's one of the reasons why we don't know that much about him.
Well, the game is loading up. It's time for our last quarterfinal match. It's going to be Rogue versus Hydra.
G'day, mates, and welcome. Welcome back. We have got our first and possibly only ZVZ here in the World Finals. It is going to be the last remaining WCS representative against the underdog Rogue. Now, Moonglade, we were talking, obviously, we've only been talking about StarCraft the past few days.
That's right.
You said Rogue is going to win BlizzCon.
I did.
Tell us all why right now.
Well, there's a number of reasons why.
Give all of them.
Everyone kind of goes for Rogue for a reason, and he is the guy that lives in Korea. But I think the biggest thing no one kind of touched on the couch, and maybe they don't really know because they didn't really look at the Korean region as much, is this guy is so good at preparation.
Well, that aside, let's introduce these players. On the left side, spawn here of Bridgehead from Ro8 Gaming. This is Hydra! There he is. We found him in the booth right there. And in the far right spawn from Jin Green Wings, this is Rogue!
Now, as I was saying about Rogue, he is this guy. He doesn't do well in these tournaments usually because they are weekend events, but there is a reason behind that. He's really good at sitting back, thinking about a player for a week, like he would in career in a Pro League or GSL, where he does have time to prepare, but he never gets that sort of time normally in this kind of tournament. But as this round of 16 was done, like 5-6 days earlier, he's managed to sit back down and think about this player, which is why I kind of gave him that favor.
That's right. So, Rogue hasn't really been on the radar for a lot of people. It's a little bit tough to do that when you're in a round of 16 that features players like Innovation, like SOS, like, previous champions like Life, and it's a little bit tough to sort of stand out against all those players when you make the round of 16. But he is here for a reason.
Absolutely.
And he got a lot of points during the year in that, in the Premier system.
He did. He didn't win these big tournaments, but he was certainly consistent enough to get here. And he went through his teammate Maru, who is arguably one of the best Terrans in the world right now. He's been playing so well overseas.
Yeah. Having the infrastructure of a team like Jin is obviously going to be amazing for you.
Absolutely. Well, as we look at the game unfold so far, we did see a pretty safe build from Rogue to begin things out here. Doesn't want to be getting cheesed out anytime soon. Wants to kind of make sure he's kind of immune to any sort of aggression early on. And it does make sense for Rogue as well. He's a very safe player. He likes his mechanics. If he can kind of get into that mid-game where he is going for roaches or mutas, he's in a very comfortable place. And I wouldn't be surprised in this kind of map as well if he was going for more of the roach style. Does really favor it with that big back door. That a lot of roach run-bys is very common as well if it gets to that stage.
That's right. You can get yourself that extra entrance into your base. It's not too bad for ZVZ, but can be bad for other matchups. And we see that small differences here. I guess that, with Rogue going pull first and Hydra going for hatch first, only small differences that we've really seen so far. Although we do see speed being researched here by Rogue. So Hydra opting not to at this stage.
Yeah, one thing I noticed about Rogue's recent play is that, Hydra's recent play is he does tend to go for that Gaster style if he can, or try and, tech up a little bit quicker, avoid investing in speedlings early if he can, and go for that much quicker roach style.
Now we see a Baneling Nest going down here, Moonglade. Now, does this look like a defensive Baneling Nest to you? Is he just being a safe nerd?
It Could very well be. I mean, he is investing in the speedlings as well. He's only got 2 on the map so far, kind of to scout things out. It's really going to depend on how many more he makes after this. It could be like a light pressure, maybe look for a way in with a couple of banelings and do some small economic damage. Put on the pressure as well, force Hydra to make some defensive units and then really start to panic.
Yeah, it does certainly look like it's just like a, you know, maybe a safety banning nest. He is mainly droning here with a lot of his lava. I mean, Hydra is droning very heavily right now, but Rogue not too far behind.
Yeah, that's right. And we are seeing that SimCity kind of go up to block, and great queen blocking, denying the scout. Didn't really get to see too much, just a couple of queens at the front there, and that evolution chamber, which can kind of give it away. It kind of is safe to assume that there's a Roach Warren as well helping that block.
Yeah, generally when you get those upgrades for the Roaches, and Hydra is in fact getting that Roach Warren, as we can see, as well as the lair halfway done already. And yeah, Rogue's getting all of his gases.
Yep, all 3 gases at once. This could very well be the Mutalisk style. And I wouldn't be surprised, you know, you do have a lot of space in this map to do so. You can defend your main base pretty easily on that high ramp. And I mean, if you bust open that backdoor, Mutaling gonna do a lot of work. And well, for now, just, we're seeing like 5 Roaches come up for Hydra as well. You know, just some defensive style, you know, you don't exactly know what's coming your way. And you can also put on the pressure with this. Once that Roach speed is finished, you can go for a pretty big counterattack, especially if it's gonna be that Muta style from Rogue.
So I like that considering he's going for that Muta play, he's getting a lot of Zerglings, which means he can travel around the map pretty quickly. So he's feeling like, it's looking like Rogue really wants to get that 3rd before Hydra does, and there it goes down. Actually, they drop it at the exact same time.
That's right.
So obviously, creep spread's going to be important to Hydra. He's got that ground army, a lot of Roaches, or he's looking to just gear into just straight Roaches for now. And not as important for Rogue at this point.
No, certainly not. It really depends where these Roaches go. Perhaps when Hydra has identified exactly what is going on. Because once that Roach speed's finished, he might want to try and rush for that main base or the 3rd base, try to do some economic damage or even cancel the 3rd to kind of reset where Rogue is at. Because the name of the game right now for Rogue, he's got to do the damage on his side of the map, keep the Roaches away, keep him on the defensive while he takes the 3rd base, and try and get that economic advantage before he has to switch back into Roaches as well.
Looks like Hydra's going to possibly hit a timing here. He's making 8 more Roaches, plus 1's just about done, as well as Roach speed, and that's going to be a pretty good time to put some hurt on.
Yeah, this is actually a very scary moment for Rogue. He might have identified this a little too late. He's building some Spine Crawlers now. The Spire is still on the way. He needs to get these Mutas out to defend against his attack.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we know that Mutas don't do too much damage to Roaches from the top. Roaches are pretty heavily armored. They have a lot of hit points. And you need more than just 2 or 3 Mutas if you really want to take them apart. You can see he's already working on the back rocks here, forcing a static defense out of Rogue. Rogue looked like he wanted to engage with the Lings there, but thought better of it in the end.
It's such a hard engagement at this point because
he's pulling the Queens as well, making the creep highway.
Oh man, this is a great timing.
And this is the kind of cheeky play you expect from Hydra, a very creative player.
Very, very smart. It's really a perfect build for this sort of situation.
Oh! He might get the Queens here. That'd be a huge pickup. He has some transfuses, so he could keep them alive, and the Roaches are helping out a lot.
I mean, even this kind of damage is huge because they're using all their energy right now. No more transfuses, and now the Mutalisk can engage. So long as the Queens are in small enough numbers, it's going to be a huge advantage in this fight.
It's kind of, yeah, Hydra basically has to go for it at this point. He's going all the way across the map with his Queens here. He does still look like he has maybe 3 transfuses there, with more obviously coming as the seconds pass. And it gave Rogue all this time to put it. Look at all that static defense there.
That's a beautiful thing. A little Spine Forest already, and he's building more and more Mutalisk right now. So if he gets a critical amount of Mutas, they can maybe even one-shot these Queens. He's going to start working on them now.
Yeah, he's doing a little bit of a touch-up here. A Ling run by, getting some Roaches on the rally path there, just near the 3rd of Hydra. And Hydra really wants to come in. It just doesn't look like he has enough, but he has to try.
He has to try. It's kind of such a tricky situation right now because they are +1 Roaches. They do 2-shot Lings, but this counterattack is going to force him into a bad place.
And the Mutas is going to come back along with the DPS of these Spine Crawlers. The Mutas combined will do a lot of damage here, probably make all the Roaches disappear. They are starting to get through the static defense slowly but surely, but they are doing a number. With the Queens are helping so much here. The Mutas darting back and forth. Nice micro from Rogue. He hasn't lost too many of the Mutas yet, but they are starting to go down. He's decided he has to pull the drones. It looked like he had so much, but Hydra is powering through and doing a lot of damage here. He's getting the Roaches, he's getting the drones down. More Roaches reinforcing from the back, and all of a sudden the Mutas need to give up the 3rd. Hydra is all up in Rogue's face, Moonglade.
He's in a lot of trouble right now. Only 3 Queens are alive though, no more transfusions, but with that Spore there, Muta's cannot go anywhere near, and with that hatchery down, he is in a pretty dire position economic-wise.
I mean, Rogue looked like he had every tick, like every box ticked there. It looked like he did everything that he needed to do against his attack, but it still just looks like it may not be enough. Hydra still has so much of a ground army he's going through. I mean, the mutas are obviously going to help a lot because the queens are going to take a while to get over there.
That's right.
And down they go.
He can kind of hold off these roaches for now, but he's only using lings and mutas, and with that spore there, it's going to be difficult. If he can clean that up with the lings, only a few roaches at the moment guarding it. This counterattack could do a lot because they can just simply ignore those
That
mutas.
is a naked base right there, and the mutas need to decide if they want to help with his mutas, with the roaches, the queens, or if they want to help here. And it looks like they've decided to try and hold this little naked hatchery here. And Hydra, great decision from the root player, putting the herd on and taking more drones out. He's 12 more drones going down the hatcheries. If he targeted that down, almost certainly would have gone down as well, but deciding he's going to pull the roaches back. Oh, he's up against the corner here, but this is actually not too bad. He can efficiently trade with the lings.
Yeah, nice trade out there.
And he got the Spire. Dongwon.
Yeah, there's a lot of trouble here for Rogue. He's really running out of options at this point, losing 13 drones like that on one base economy against two with an inferior composition, essentially. Those mutas, they can fly around most of the map. They won't be able to do any damage simply on the defensive the whole time.
The mutas catching up, the few stragglers there, some Zerglings touching up the roaches, but just look how tanky they are. They're taking all the hits here. What the drones have only just returned, only to meet raw roach acid in the face.
Well, down they go, and they're slowly droning up that base again. So he's nearly on 2-base economy, but as we see already, the Queen's on the way, Infestation Pit nearly done. He's going to have the perfect sort of composition to deal with what Rogue is kind of stuck on for a while longer.
Yeah, obviously the better economy as well. Hasn't taken the drone hits that Rogue has, obviously, but yeah, he's going to try and find an opening with his mutas, but Hydra's on lockdown here. He's got spore crawlers, lots and lots of queens, forcing Rogue to remake his Spire. He's committed to this. And
I'm actually kind of surprised he's remaking that Spire.
Yeah, me too, actually.
Point, but I guess he really doesn't have any other option. He's going to be up against roaches with far greater upgrades if he chose down that path. So I guess sticking to mutas, maybe there's some hope there, but it doesn't really look like it at this point.
He would definitely be playing catch up, but obviously the mutas are going to outlive their usefulness as the game goes on. Whether you got that spore, the spore crawler is so powerful against them. Generally, you want to transition into Hydralisk as well as the Infestors as well for Hydra if he wants to go into the super late game.
Yeah, and we're looking at a Nidus network as well, so that's going to be the attack from Hydra when he's ready to do so. He can do it even at the back of that empty natural that just got destroyed.
That's right. He does have some space there. He's got his own creep tumors down there, so he does have vision. That's actually the perfect place for the Nidus. Almost certainly going to drop it down there.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place. Well, it looks like he found the queens at the bottom there, so he can deal with them hidden away, maybe waiting for that Nidus to come up.
Oh, yeah, actually,
keep it alive.
With the Overseer, he could actually probably get rid of these creep tumors.
Yeah, kind of essential. I think he's realized at this point what he had to do. And he's making 8 more Mutalisks, so he's certainly sticking to that style, maybe going for the perfect, magic box, trying to deny these perfect fungals from going down. But I think there will simply be too many queens with too much upgrades.
Mutas are flying back here. Looks like their spider senses are tingling and they get the Nidus.
Oh, that is an important move.
That's a big pickoff.
Keeps him alive for a little while longer.
It does. Looks like Hydra's going to abandon that plan for now and just unload. Send everything back on the down. He actually has an incredibly scary army. He's almost 20 supply up in army. Obviously, it's upgrade as well. It's plus to attack, the most important upgrade in ZVZ for the ground army, and he could actually take the fight to the ground if he wanted. Look at all the anti-muta tools he has here.
Yeah, he's got the perfect force to deal with these mutas. It's just about getting to them, and I mean, they're off creep right now, marching across the map. That's going to be a long march, a long walk to that to that third base of rogues.
15 more roaches coming up for Hydra as well. He did just spend a ton of lava to make a bunch of overlords and get that supply cap up there so he can start creating his Doom army to try and roll over Rogue here. And Rogue just trying to find an opening with his mutas.
Well, it looks like he might have found it. He's going to work on those spore crawlers. Nothing else much here except a bunch of roaches. He's going to help against the lings.
Ling's running into the main here, and he's actually forcing Hydra to retreat all the way home.
Oh, man. He's got to watch out for these fungals. If he gets a big fungal, he's done.
Oh, yeah, and he's picking up. He's actually doing pretty well. He's picking off an Infestor for free there. Unfortunately, a Spore Crawler getting a couple of mutas, which is kind of sucks for Rogue, but this run by doing pretty well.
Yep, here we go, though. All the roaches and queens have nearly made their way across. A bunch of queens out in the middle of nowhere, but mutas cannot go near them.
No, and this Nidus looks like it's going to get up pretty much unadulterated here, getting a hatchery as well to start his death march.
Really only one base left over to deal with, and that is the main base. If he can crush that, there is simply no going back for Rogue. Even at this point, he's got one more mining base now just going up. Still, I mean, what can he do? How can he fight this army?
It is so tough. He could maybe get the Nidus Canal as the queens move down and transfuse the roaches so they get deeper into enemy territory. Looks like he will get it, but does Hydra even care? He has a lot of his army here already.
Slowly making his way up to the main base now. Roaches are up there. He could even leave some up there. There's simply nothing really to defend against them and do enough damage.
Oh my. Hydra is everywhere, killing drones at the top here. And he's already taken out the third base, and he's moving into the main as well. And 24, 25, more drones keep going down in the main. And it is looking like Hydra is going to take first game here, Moonblade. It is hard to argue otherwise.
Certainly so. Looks like he's going for a counterattack at the main base of Hydra, but what can he really do? He's going to be fighting up against a lot of Spore Crawlers.
Yeah, 3 Spore Crawlers here. Doesn't even need to transfuse them, really. His mutant numbers are dwindling. He can't really remake them.
Well, kind of a base rate at this point. Drones do get across the map, though, for Rogue, so maybe there is some hope if he can deal enough damage to these buildings. If he can actually avoid fighting this army altogether, that would be his way of winning this game, maybe his only chance. But look at that. Beautiful Spore Forest.
Yeah, and as soon as he sees it, GG. Rogue has Cacique to 1 to Root Gaming's Hydra. The last remaining WCS representative, a Korean that has adopted and adored the US lifestyle since moving here.
Absolutely, he did a great job there. Really great build for the map. You know, maybe he expected Rogue to go for that Muta style, and he had everything in place to do the counterattack, do the damage he needed to do, and really solidify that mid-game.
Yeah. Important to bring up, and I wish I did it earlier, is that in case you guys didn't know at home, Hydra is actually 6-1 versus Rogue.
Yeah, that's right. That's a huge,
pretty huge
mental edge.
Obviously, speaking of mental edges, he is feeling very confident because he has been winning. He has been a finalist a couple times already this year. Obviously, won in Toronto as well. So he is feeling very confident against Rogue.
He certainly has a much brighter history, I guess, than Rogue. Rogue being stuck in career life, forced to do Pro League for the entire year. That's great experience, obviously, but you know, he doesn't have that tournament experience that Hydra has.
Well, Rogue actually went to a bunch of Premier tournaments, but he's actually never made it past the round of 8 in those Premier tournaments. He did well at Gfinity, but 5 times in 2015, he's been stopped dead right here at this point in the tournament where you just couldn't crack that round of 4 semi-final bracket. So
I got to say, he's definitely one of the most emotional players as well. And these best of games has also been kind of his curse, even in career. Like if he loses maybe the first or second game, he can really get on tilt very, very easily. And you can see it on his face usually how bad it is, and he really reflects in his play after that.
Yeah, but it is a nice face though. He is the sexy boy, as he likes to say.
Beautiful face. I mean, can't complain, but it's a sad thing. But look at this, second map is going to be Cactus Valley.
Yeah, and this one strikes me like the analyst said at the couch, a bit of a road pick here. This is a map where, you know, players like Hydra who like to do stuff a little bit crazy, a little bit aggressive, he has a little bit of room to breathe.
That's right. That's absolutely right. It's certainly a lot more scarier on those bigger maps because you might not get the scout that you need with the Overlord, and then, you know, it could be some kind of all-in, some build order win coming your way, and you just don't know until it hits you.
That's right. And obviously Rogue is going to look to tie the series here, give himself a bit of breathing room, and try and get his first Premier round of 4. And what a place to do it here at the BlizzCon World Finals here in Anaheim. And let's get into it. In the bottom right spawn here from Root Gaming, it is Hydra! Lots of Hydra fans here. Not surprising, he's got a lovely smile and a good attitude. And in the top right spawn from Junior Green Wings, this is Rogue! God, I love that stage. It's never not been impressive.
It's an amazing thing. We never really see anything like that anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, there is nothing like that, man.
Certainly not. And, I mean, look at Hydra. He's already playing to the map advantage here. And he's even scouting in the right direction.
Yeah, this is kind of a dice roll when you do this, and by that I mean a big dice roll when you do this.
The biggest dice roll.
The biggest dice roll. So
it's going to pay.
You obviously see this as well. You drone scout as well as Overlord scout because you need to know where your opponent is immediately so that you can rally those lings in the right direction.
Yeah,
what a cheeky bugger, this guy.
It is so cheeky, and let's see if it works out. Let's see when Rogue's going to be throwing down that pool. He's going to have to throw it down now as his next option, his next spendage.
Oh, but he's on a 4-player map. He might try and go just hatch first, as you do.
You think so, but look at that. He puts down the pool again. He did this last game as well. He is afraid of this kind of style from Hydra.
And he should be.
He should be. He chose the right style this time.
That's right.
Well, he's going to scout exactly where he is, Hydra, which is the most important thing for him to do at this point.
He's pulling the drones as well.
He's pulling everything at this point, completely all in.
Wow. I haven't seen this in a long time, Inglade.
Yeah, well, it'd be a beautiful thing if it was that hatchery first. Let's see if we can actually make it work against this 15 pool opening, though. It's going to be a lot trickier, but not impossible.
And obviously, Ro8 didn't drone scout or anything like that. He's just relying on the Overlord, so he is in the dark for the time being. And Hydra doesn't have enough minerals to drop any spine crawlers or anything like that, but he does still have the drone's extra DPS, which is something I can't believe I'm saying.
Look at this.
And in they come into the main. He's completely undetected. Hello, Rogue!
And let's see what Rogue is going to do. He makes those 6 drones now. He's going to be stacking his drones out as well. 6 lings on the way, and that queen. Cancelled that hatchery as well in the natural.
Oh, he has to. Needs every bit of minerals he can to stymie this flow of lings and drones from Hydra.
And he's going to be camping. It looks like the egg's going to try and surround those lings as they come out.
Got a bit of damage on one. He's actually not doing too bad. Hydra's lings largely untouched. There's the big engagement here. So Ro8 does have the drone advantage. He's got to surround. And the queen coming out's going to help a whole ton as well.
Just simply not enough here, though. 2 drones remain, and that queen's going to really be the nail in the coffin here. Man, we got some loot.
What a game. GG, and Hydra tried to play the advantage there and go, it's a 4-play map. You're going to be greedy, or you're going to have that extra space and think you're safe, and I'm going to try and trick you. But Ro8, that 15 pull saved him. If that was a hatch first, he would be dead.
He knew he had to be careful against this player. He knew what he was up against. He has experience, as you said, a big history with this player as well. Likes those early pulls, and busting it out of a map like that is a pretty smart move in general, because you would think, as you said earlier, it would be a hatchery first, but not always is the case.
Indeed, ZVZ is such a mental matchup. PvP as well, actually, a lot of mirror matchups are, but, like Dario said, TLO said, it is one of those matchups where you can clutch a win if you choose the incorrect build order.
Yep.
If you get build order wins do exist, but you can claw back from it.
Yeah, it can be very build order win sort of oriented early on in the match. Really comes down to, is that early pool versus that early hatchery, or is it going to be like the gentleman's agreement sort of macro match?
The gentleman's agreement 15 hatchery that used to exist back where we come from, man.
Oh yeah, the handshake.
It is the electronic handshake to just 15 hatch.
You want to get the roaches if that's the case. Yeah, I respect that.
You respect it, I bet you do. Won a few ZVZ tournaments in your time, Inglade.
Yeah, I've been around the block, and I mean, only Zerg's in Australia, so what can I do?
Win!
Dash and Terminal going to be the 3rd map there. And this is probably the one time we will see this map in this tournament, because no one really wants to play it.
I assume you will only ever see it in a mirror that's a best of 7, so maybe if there's a mirror in the final, we may see Dash and Terminal again.
If it gets there, yeah.
Yeah, if we get there. But obviously in ZVZ it doesn't matter too much, and even if it wasn't a mirror, this is a very decent Zerg map. Has the extra sort of rush distance on the ground, very scrap stationy, and a very short air distance. So Muta link play very strong.
Absolutely.
And let's get into the game, guys. Who is going to take the advantage here in this series? They're both tied up, 1 apiece. In the right spawn here from Brute Gaming, this is Hydra. And in the top left, from Judea Greetings with a great hold from Hydra's aggression, this is Ro8.
Playing a very safe game. Last game, will he do it again? He will have to, because we are already seeing a 9 pool come out from Hydra, keeping that aggression going once again.
ZVZ has always been described as a knife fight. One small mistake and you are dead. And it is very fast, very aggressive, as it often is the case.
Now, it's not a bad sort of mind game to play, because, after you beat a 6 pool like that last game, you're thinking to yourself, all right, he ain't going to do that again. And there's no way he's going to rush like that again. I can probably go for that 15 hatchery. But let's see if Ro8 sticks to his guns.
Yeah.
Apparently he won't, though. He is going to go for that hatch first. So we see that drone go down to the natural.
So Hydra is doing the econ version of what he did last game.
Yeah, pretty much indeed. And well,
and Rogue's going hatch first.
Yeah, and we're going to see a gas out, it looks like it. And that means it's most likely going to be those banelings coming out as well, which is probably the hardest sort of build order win you would have against this kind of style.
I think Rogue's heart may be in his socks in a few minutes here as he comes in here with his Overlord, sees that gas and it is being mined by more than one drone, and sees the lings out already, and he knows that he needs to make that spawning pull now, yesterday.
It's actually going to be one of the hardest fights. You can win it still, even in this kind of position. It comes down to micro more than anything else, where those banelings hit as well. So, and let's see what he can do, but in this kind of position, it is hard, and it's not the biggest map either. The rush distance is pretty short. already Lings nearly made it to that natural as well.
Yeah, they're almost there. It is a bit of a walk, but they made it. And they're they either can choose to start touching up the natural hatchery or go straight for the main, and offer the choice is this, to go straight for the main. And Rogue's already here with the drone block.
Yeah, going to try and deny those Lings. If he can actually trade out the Lings before Banelings are even on the map, it's probably the best advantage he has right now. It's such a hard place to be, though. Let's see what he can get done here. The dance begins.
So Hydra probably surely going to break off 2 Lings, make some Banelings somewhere, and then keep pressuring with the ones that aren't becoming Banes.
Oh, there they are. 2 Banelings now on the way, on the ramp. Gonna try drone drill through and trade with these Lings.
Oh, he's gonna try and kill these Banelings if he can. His own Zerglings are here to try and help out, and he's already lost 5 drones here. Oh, the Banelings are gonna pop. 1 gets through, gets 3 Zerglings. It's actually not a bad trade, but one Baneling did get taken out there.
That's right, you know, but still, only 5 drones have gone down so far. A Queen is about to pop out as well, and more Lings on the way. Not a bad defense from Rogue.
Yeah, not terrible. I mean, he is alive, which means that his defense is pretty effective.
He has survived so far, and a huge blunder from Hydra in the main base. It looks like he kept his Overlord there for a little too long.
Oh, no. That is actually going to supply block him, and that'll be terrible in the early game, especially when he's doing this.
Yeah, it really comes down to he has to do damage with these Banelings, with these Lings he has on the map. Otherwise, he will simply lose the game. But look at this.
Oh, he's already there with these Lings. He's pulling back the Hurt Ones. He's using the Hurt Ones to try and deal with them. That's actually a decent connection with that one Baneling. He really wants to keep the others alive, but, I mean, he's not anywhere near a drone line.
Absolutely not. If he gets to the last couple, he should be in a good place right now.
Good
More than enough
defense.
Lings.
Well done by Rogue. GG. And Rogue takes the edge of the series.
Somehow hangs on there. Not the best sort of build order to be up against, but just having everything out right and getting those drones to trade with the Lings like he did. Canceling one of those Banelings on the way as well kept him in the game.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So it's good to see Rogue being in a decent position here. I mean, he has won versus Hydra before, but Hydra has such a dominant record against him. And I'm sure a lot of the Korean fans out there, like the guys here in Anaheim, that stay up till 5 a.m. to watch the Pro League and SSLs and that sort of things that are on when I'm eating dinner. That is, they don't often see Rogue.
Yeah.
So it's going to, there's probably a few fans here that really want to see him get that upset there against Hydra.
Yeah.
Make it all the way.
I think it's about
as we predicted
time.
he would.
It's about time that he made it past the round of 8, and he's stuck to his guns so far. He's played very well. He's kind of getting the impression from Hydra, I'm surely at this point, that he is hyper-aggressive this series. He maybe thought he figured out Rogue, that Rogue plays too safe, too greedy, but it hasn't been the case.
Yeah, well, it's like you said about preparation, man. He is one prepared Zerg. He's actually been doing the right thing against Hydra.
It really is his most powerful trait, I have to say, after my 2 years of experience overseas watching him play. If he gets that week to prepare, he can be unstoppable against anyone.
Yeah, and he's certainly looking the case. I mean, in first game, Hydra, when he got into the mid to later game, he looked very, very strong. And he's going into the Windows 10 DVR replay here.
Just having a look at how it all went down here. And it really was the drones on the ramp that won the day. Maybe if Hydra pulled back a little bit more with those Lings and didn't completely trade them out like they did, he would have been in a better place a little further down the track.
I mean, obviously not really any build orders analyzed here, but it's more just the really sick control, as you'd expect by players of this caliber, being in that top 8 of the whole world, basically. And then there's that drone drill right there, and that there from Rogue, as Moonglade said, probably is how he stayed alive and won that game there. He actually even killed or canceled one of the Banelings, and one did trade with 3 Lings, but he just killed the scary force, which was the rest of the Zerglings. And that blunder from Hydra there, losing the Overlord in the main.
Yeah, I think he got a little too carried away. Maybe he thought he had the game won because he did such a build order advantage, but I mean, if you're going to lose your Overlord like that when you have like 18 supply, you can't make any more Lings. You're essentially in the worst place you could be in. Just beautiful micro from this point on.
Yeah, really nice play here, and this is just about the point where Hydra taps out, and looks like our next map is going to be Moonlight Madness.
Ooh.
Obviously, this is a mirror, so map balance is kind of out the window, but...
Yeah, it's a bit of a cheeky map.
Yeah, how do you feel about Moonlight, I was about to say?
I feel like it has similar properties to Bridgehead in terms of like there's that backdoor rocks. You can do that sort of roach run by Muter if you want. Muter Ling will do a lot of work as well, working on a 3rd base.
Yep.
So it's going to be a lot of fun. I really enjoy these kind of maps for this mirror match. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Moonlight Madness actually as a turn player has been one that I actually haven't despised. And I like that the 3rd is sort of reasonably easy to take. It's not too hard to defend, that kind of map. And I like maps where you can get a decent, an easier 3rd.
Yeah, this has certainly been one of my more favorite maps of the map pool as well. A little bit trickier against Terran, I'd have to say. But, I mean, if you get those Mutas out in time, you're going to have fun regardless of what race you're playing against. And you know me, I like my Mutalisks.
Oh, we got a Hydra fan in the audience. We got all kinds of fans in the audience. Oh, he's a little bit sad. Perhaps Hydra can put a smile on that dial.
Well, he's going to have to. I mean, he's not out of it yet. He just has to win 2 more games, and he can do it. Maybe he's got to, rewind a little bit, maybe step away from those early pulls and play a gentleman's game, as I have to say.
A gentleman's game, and you know what? The gentleman's game is the one that he won. So
that's right, indeed. And Rogue's not afraid to go to that gentleman's game again. He's been trying to do it every single game so far.
So obviously, Moonlight Madness for Futures here is a 2-player map. So obviously, right off the bat, you know exactly where your opponent is. Of course, in ZVZ, as we've seen in this series many times, you can do the gentleman's agreement, go hatch first, or you can go straight for cheese. And it's easier when you know exactly where your opponent is, as obvious.
To be honest, I think we're not going to see that kind of cheese anymore from Hydra.
I'm actually fully expecting Hydra to go back to the Game 1 style. Of just playing straight up, maybe dropping that pull first and getting that hatchery shortly afterwards and trying to get into the mid-game a little bit, as he looked so strong in it.
He looked fantastic in it, and I mean, Rogue is not going to have any of it. He's going to be safe once again, I'm sure of it.
And one thing we have seen in the past is the player that keeps getting cheesed all of a sudden turns it back around.
That's right. Well,
we'll have to see.
Let's have a look in game number 4 here.
All right, in the bottom left here. Currently down in this series. He's got to win the next 2 if he wants to win this series. It is Hydra from Ro8 Gaming. Still with plenty of fans out there. I'm sure you guys all want to see it go to 2-2. I do too. And then it's up right here from Judea Green Wings. This is Rogue. He's 1 game away from breaking his round of 8 curse in Premier tournaments.
And what a tournament to do it in. The most premier of them all.
I would even argue to say that it is the only tournament that he should be doing it in, because there is a lot of money here.
Everything else is experience until you get to this stage.
That's right.
Where the real money is there and all that glory.
And instantly getting into this game, we see it as 13 supply apiece, and I'm very happy to see that.
Yeah, we're going to see a nice macro game from this. I'm looking forward to some Roach's headbutting. That's
headbutting.
I never use that term. I was trying to copy it from you.
The Roach headbutt, yeah. It's a term I like to use.
Man.
We see a lot of ZVZs and in our scene in the world.
And look at that. Still keeping it safe there, Rogue. Little rattled, perhaps, the style from Hydra. Even though he has a game to burn, essentially, he's going to play it ultra safe for now. Just play that macro game from that 15 pool.
And Hydra turning it around, going for a slight edge here for the Econ, going for that hatch first.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't disagree with that choice, considering what he's seen from Rogue every single game so far in this in the series. He's not going for any sort of early aggression.
That's right, prepared notes here. So we will have a, see what the players' plans are as the tech drops down. We'll be seeing Evo Chamber, Roach Worm. We'll be seeing speed again from Rogue. Will he be going for that muta play style that he did in the first game? I think that the muta play style actually is relatively decent on this map in ZVZ.
I'd favor it far more on this map than Bridgehead, that's for sure. You got a little bit more space to work with and a lot of dead air all around the map.
Yeah, dead space makes it a little bit easier for those air units. You see both players scouting and breathing a sigh of relief as they see that that natural hatchery being made there.
Well, let's see exactly how it unfolds from here. The gas is being mined now, and that's really where it comes down to. I got to say, from all the games I've seen from Hydra in recent times, he doesn't really like to go the muta style often. He really likes to go for those early roaches more than anything else, which makes a lot of sense, and I'm sure this is something that Rogue has researched and noted as well.
Yeah, it does seem more common to just go for that Roach style and then kick it up into Hydras a little bit later on in the game. Maybe dust in Infestors if you need to. But yeah, I see a lot of Roaches versus Roach in ZVZ. And it's cool to see actually 2 styles collide. I love it when 2 players go for Roach or, go for a different style. And there's plenty of viable options in ZVZ, which is really nice to see.
Yeah, you got a bunch of different options early on, a lot of different compositions. It generally will steer towards that Roach Hydra Infestor style in the mid to late game, but before then you can have a lot of fun with mutas. I wouldn't even be surprised if both players do go for the muta style in this map, because it is so much harder to kind of defend against them when all bases are so spread out as well. As we see Rogue scouting across the map now with his first 2 lings, going to get an idea of exactly what Hydra has been up to.
Yep, gonna get a bit of a cheeky look here and see what's up. But there's 2 queens already there to deny that scout when the Zerglings do come down, and they can easily dispatch them.
Yeah, and look at that. 220 gas already saved up for Hydra. Not investing in any sort of Zergling speed early. Not going for that early lair just yet, but I'm getting that impression that we're going to see his Roach style again. Yeah,
it does certainly seem to be banking it up, and he is actually doing the exact same thing as Game No. 1, getting that the 10 drones out. Actually, he's getting speed this time. It's a little bit different than Game 1. I stand corrected.
Well,
Didn't get the scout into the main, didn't see the juicy tech area, didn't see that, you know, no fast lair or anything like that. And Rogue, in fact, is going for the lair of the Baneling Nest, and it's definitely looking like he might be dropping those 3 extra gases soon and going for that mute style once again.
Yeah, I'm getting that impression as well. You know, just kind of stick to it, and I think that's probably the best choice for him. He did it well last time, he just got it a little too late. And, well, this time with this Ling speed on the way for Hydra, I'm wondering exactly what he's got planned. Perhaps gonna go for a massive Ling attack behind this and really try and surprise Rogue before he has any sort of defenses.
He may be trying to tell him that he's going Roach while massing Lings in his main, I mean, you know, going for the big speedling flood, because he is actually making 16 Lings right now.
Yeah, there we
they
go.
are all rallied to the mains.
Even faking a +1. Let's see if he'll keep with that, but, you know, it's very, very smart. Kind of really selling it at this point. So
he's making roaches as well.
Out of nowhere.
It isn't a fake. He's actually just making so many units that it's just insane.
All right. Okay, well, let's see when that Baneling Nest comes down next then, because it could just simply be that Ling Bane Roach style. 12 Roaches on the way this early on, and Roach really has no idea until now.
He's seen all the Lings there, and now Hydra has been triggered. He has to go.
He has to go now. A ton of Spines are going to be going down to defend this Spire, and a lot of Banelings, I'm sure, are going to be on the way as well.
Absolutely, he's got to drop that static defense, everything he can get, because he doesn't have the army supply to deal with this. Rogue is 13 army supply versus the 48 of Hydra. A nice Baneling connection could spell the end of this aggression, though. It's so close.
It's so close. He's really playing with fire in here. There's no real point of doing it either. I mean, he's going to try and get rid of these Banelings, but so long as Rogue babysits, it shouldn't really happen.
He got one there. He's trying to pick off another, just trading one Ling at a time. And here come the big boys. The Roaches are coming out the front door just in time for the Spine Crawlers to finish.
Oh, man. Here comes more Banelings as well. That's a lot of Roaches, though.
Yeah, that's so many Roaches here from Hydra. Rogue really desperately trying to climb a defense here. The Banelings want to find that juicy cluster of Lings, but haven't quite got there yet. Oh, that was so close. The Lings are going to start to flood in now. The Banelings are gone. And the static defense is starting to drop a little bit here.
Actually skipping a little too much on the Spines, but more and more Lings are coming in. Maybe he actually has enough as we see more Hatch.
Yeah. And he's remaking the Banelings there on the ramp just in case there's a run by. A great spot to make them. Re-putting the Spine Crawlers in a much better spot. The Queen's still untouched, and he is going to clean it up and fight it back. And now Rogue has a whole bunch of Zerglings, and he can make his mutas as well if he wanted. But he could actually go for any kind of counterattack if he wanted to.
Yeah, he could. He could even sit there and make mutas there, which would be the best choice. He's got 700 gas right now. He's trying to solidify. Maybe even get rid of this Queen, which would help out a lot.
Oh,
he's 2 Banelings.
Yeah, the Queen really wants those Banelings, but she does pick off one there, but has to sacrifice the greatest sacrifice she can do as a Queen.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a full energy Queen as well.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of a blunder there. Here. 4 more Banes in the way as well.
Oh my god.
Yeah, letting a few in, not a bad choice for considering what is coming.
Yeah, Hydra trying to hold the flood here. That Baneling does connect with quite a few Lings there, but he has enough to hold this counterattack here from Rogue. And Hydra's actually in the main doing a bit of damage, but great defense from both players, I have to say, on both sides.
Yeah, Rogue really on point though. He's deflected everything he had to so far, and now 8 mutas are on the way. 3 out already. Going to be taking that map control and a very easy third base behind it, no doubt.
Yeah, can start picking off Overlords as well on the way. Just more of a mineral bank and more of a lava bank that Hydra needs to spend into, you know, recatching his supply. I mean, he does have a pretty nice cap at the moment.
That's right. He's getting his third base. It looks like it's been finished already. So if he can get some spores up there, he will be in a good place to kind of go into a normal macro game behind it. We see some Spore Crawlers on the way now. We're just too busy kind of cleaning up the map and the Overlords, trying to take the control that way, instead of really going for any sort of damage in the economy-wise.
Yeah, you can do one or the other. Generally, the Overlords die first and then buys you a bit of time as the reactive anti-muta player. Oh my god, the Lings are just going to get in here.
All right, well, this could do a lot of work as well.
And the one Queen goes down, another one about to go down here as well. I mean, yeah, she's being transfused, but there is a lot of DPS from these Lings, and they might actually get all of them.
Wow, this is absolutely huge damage. Losing every single Queen, that's a lot of anti-air gone. If you can get rid of the Spore Crawlers with these Lings as well, it's pretty much an open base, and the mutas can do whatever they want here.
And Hydra is almost finding himself in a position where he's 30 supply down, almost half the army supply. And he is just trying to remake his Queens here as Rogue is just running past these Speedlings and killing all of his macro Queens.
He's absolutely falling to bits at this point. He's even going to get the Roach Warren.
If he gets the Roach Warren, especially before Roach Speed finishes, I just think that this is going to be so hard for Hydra. No. He's put all of his upgrades and his research into that Roach tech.
He's just getting further and further behind, and he's just having the game. Rogue is just enjoying this at this point. He's having that muta micro sort of game where he just makes more and more mutas and just flies around killing stuff.
And he's getting his third very comfortably as well. He knows that Hydra really can't run by at this point. He needs to devote all of his resources to staying alive in this game. Is Ro8 going to break his round of 8 curse here?
I'm getting that impression at this point, up so far, up essentially 40 supply right now. We're seeing Ro8 just come out, maybe trying to buy some time, deflect these lings, more and more queens as well, but they're just getting picked off.
He's lost so many queens. I feel like he's lost 7 or 8 queens at this point. The queen trying to make it back to the sport crawler, but the lings do the rest, and he's going to get another queen in the main if he right-clicks on that as well. This guy is all his. He can do whatever he wants.
He gets the spawning pool, so he can't make any units. You know, there's so many things. Look how many roaches
and he has more roaches at him. Hydra, GG, Ro8 has done it. He's made it to the round of 4 for the first time in his Premier history here for 2015. Sexy boy has made it all the way.
Beautiful work from Ro8, and I'm so proud of him. So happy to see him make it this far. I knew he had it in him. So much preparation done this week, and it really showed today.
High five at some of those fans. Hopefully he got a few more fans tonight with some pretty sick play there. Great player. Look forward to seeing him in the semis.
Rogue moves on to the semifinal, and as our commentator said, finally breaks that curse of getting blocked in the round of 8 at Premier tournaments. Ro8, I mean, did that ever concern you? Were you ever concerned that, oh my gosh, am I just never going to be better than the round of 8 at these high-class tournaments? 지금까지는 이런 큰 무대에서는 항상 최고로 높이 가신 게 이제 8강까지였는데 오늘 드디어 이제 4강까지 올라가셨어요. 그런 지금까지 이제 뭐 2015년에 계속 경기를 하시면서 그런 혹시 걱정이 있으셨나요? 아, 어딜 가도 8강까지밖에 못 가나? 그런 걱정이 있으셨나요?
그래서 8강이 아니라 다전제에서 제가 멘탈이 너무 약한 것 같아서 다전제를 이길 수 있을까라고 생각을 했는데 오늘 첫 판을 지고 역시 잘 안 되는구나 생각했는데 뭔가 그래도 멘탈 다시 잡으면서 빌드 생각을 굉장히 많이 했는데 동원이 형이 제가 안전하게 했는데 공격적으로 해주셔서 이긴 것 같아요.
The curse never really worried me. I didn't think about that, but I was worried because I felt I was always weaker coming into these longer best of series matches. And after that I lost that first map, it started crawling back to me. I was like, is this where it ends again? Do I lose in a best of 5 once again? And so I had to take some time, just rethink my build orders, play it a lot calm, and I started playing much safer. At the same time, thankfully, Hydra is playing a little bit more aggressive, so fortunately, I'm able to move on to the semifinals. Now, you are moving on to the semifinals, but in the semifinals, it's another team kill. Coming up to here in Anaheim, you have to take down Maro, but now if you want to reach the finals, you have to take down your teammate SOS. What's that going to be like? 저희 이제 16강에서도 팀킬로 그 조성주 선수 상대로 경기를 치르셨어야 되는데 이제 4강에서도 또 다시 한번 팀킬 김유진 선수 상대로 경기를 치르셔야 돼요. 뭐 기분이 어떠세요? 이렇게 2번이나 팀킬을 해야 된다니까.
유진이 형이랑은 팀킬 되게 기대가 되고 재미있을 것 같아요.
Now, I'm looking forward to it. I think that's going to be a fun match between me and SOS. Ladies and gentlemen, Ro, the sexy boy, moves on to the semifinals here at BlizzCon 2015.
Rogue honestly almost looks shocked to be there up on stage. What do I do now? I mean, this is the first time he's ever gotten to the round of 4 in any of his major titles. And honestly, the fastest, actually one of the fastest matches we even saw, even including some of the round of 16 matches. I mean, that was quick, decisive wins in games 2 through 4. I mean, it was really pretty impressive.
It got a little bit cheesy, and sometimes when it gets cheesy, it can be quick. And I think Hydra would have liked it to have been quick in the other way, I imagine. Because each time he was like, what about this time? And it didn't work. He was like, nah, all right.
It's a shame, really, because I feel Hydra didn't show his caliber in those matches. I don't think it was necessary for him to go for so many all-ins when he is skill-wise not that far apart from Ro8.
Yeah, and that's something I think the commentators might not have known, not having covered him all year long at WCS.
I mean, I think there is one thing that really stood out for that. I think there is one thing that really stood out. It's mostly the execution that Ro8 displayed there. Maybe you expect him to be nervous in the round of 8. You know, it's his first time that he could make it to the semifinals. A very big stage, but game number 2, he went hedge first. You know, it's kind of tricky against a 10-pool Bane. Just perfect micro, perfect drone drill. And then at a certain point, he trades 3 links for like 3 Banes. I loved it. And then again as well, on the Cactus Valley, early game, also very crisis clutch management. I think it was
Yeah.
great execution more than anything else.
Those are, I think, the scariest moments in StarCraft 2.
Yeah.
The Ling, Baneling, do I have enough kind of defense? I mean, in that last game, that all of us on the sofa here were watching and just said, that was a sick defense. I mean, he saw it kind of late. But not only did he see it and respond well, but his persistence with trying to find exactly what was going on and the punishment with those Lings was brutal.
Yeah, I do think that one link changed everything, because if that one link doesn't sneak by the queen, doesn't run up that ramp and sees 20 links, I also love how quickly he reacted. And sometimes like, did he really see it? Well, 2 spines go down and Banes morph, so that changes everything. Otherwise, he sees it once the links start running out. That's when you start morphing your Banes, and then the first moment those links arrived, and it's still kind of the moment my Banes are almost ready, but they're not ready yet. Now the Banes were right there when the links arrived at the front door, and well, Dario, you as a Zerg, you can contest, like, it's impossible to micro your links against links and Bane. You got to be so careful about it.
It's not impossible.
Okay, but
I agree with you.
It's tricky.
This one, Kevin was wrong.
What I found even more impressive is that he even seemed to know it's only going to be Roach Leng, because the way he positioned his spine crawlers next to each other is ideal versus Roach Leng. But if the other guy has Banelings, that's actually the worst thing you could possibly do.
I want to say, too, that they made a comment about how prepared Rogue is as a player, and I wonder how much merit there is to that, because it felt like, in retrospect, Hydra's actually a pretty cheesy Zerg versus Zerg player. Like, I agree with you, we were kind of talking on the couch, and it's like, gosh, his normal game is so strong. In fact, that's how he won game number 1, but then went from there, the cheese just fell apart for him. But I think back to like him versus Jaedong, Hyung, some of these other ZVZs we've had in the WCS system, and they actually feel, as a series, pretty cheesy. And in which case, Rogue seemed to get the better end of each build. And I do agree with you, though, too, his execution was really, really good. Yeah. But like 15 spawning pool against 6 pool, that's the build you want most often.
I think the thing that impresses me so much about Rogue, not only did he win that series relatively convincingly, but that was against a 6-1 deficit versus Hydra specifically, which, as we've seen in the tournament, the mental blocks that players run into have been punishing them all tournament long. And I mean, really, playing on the same team as SOS seems to have paid off for him, because the crisis management in weird spots shone through. Yeah. So if we look at the brackets now, at the final 4 players, at the final Heart of the Swarm tournament here, at the World Championship Series Global Finals, it's Classic versus Life and SOS versus Rogue. I mean, we have 3 absolutely brilliant creative players and Rogue the underdog.
Yes. And 2 PVZs, which is really nice. We've successfully eliminated Terran from Heart of the Swarm, which is awesome.
Well, it makes sense. Going from Heart of the Swarm to Legacy of the Void, you finally completely eliminated the Terrans from StarCraft 2.
So what you're saying is we need a PvP final for this tournament to then move into Legacy of the Void. Is that what you want?
If that's what the people want.
Now, of course, at this point, I'm just curious who you think is going to be taking the entire tournament at this point.
It's rough, because I actually thought Hero was going to do it all along, but he's not among us anymore. Classic, his PVZ looked absolutely phenomenal against Pure in the round of 16. And we always talk about the X Factor. We still believe in life. Actually, we can take a look at the predictions. That's always fun, unless you're me and you're not doing that well.
Who's last place?
Well, don't worry. Listen, everybody here isn't Todd, so we're doing great. Look at that, 42%. Maybe that's what we should focus on. But really, actually, like, let's just talk about the fact that the highest percentage is 67%.
Yeah.
This has been a pretty wild WCS.
Let's just talk about the fact that it's actually Artosis up there. Like,
No, don't.
No?
No.
Should we still let him believe that the curse is real?
Listen, man, he's got so much weight on those shoulders as it is. No, he's doing really good. So is Claris, by the way, who's actually at the top as well. Claris,
but again, who's your pick to win it all, Roddy?
On the spot.
I really don't know. Maybe.
No, you got to pick
Classic.
someone.
Classic.
All right.
Classic, Dario.
Au contraire, I'm going to go with Life.
Life
is a good pick. I think SOS is looking red hot, but I'm going to agree with my man Kevin over here. I think it's Classic. He's been systematically ruining these people's lives right now.
My first attempt at a final pick is going to be SOS. I'm going to see how I'm feeling tomorrow.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. We're going to step away to a brief break, but we are not done here on stream. We're going to be talking to Kim Fan, Senior Esports Manager at Blizzard Entertainment, to talk a little bit about WCS and what lies ahead, and of course, some Legacy of the Void Archon show matches. Stay tuned from all of us here. That concludes WCS Round of 8, Day 1. We'll see you in a short bit.